Have you ever been to one of those paint nights with your friends? I went once and I was really nervous about it because honestly, I'm not really an artist. And so as I sat down to paint, I found myself very quickly comparing my work to my friends. As I was painting, I was thinking, their trees look perfect. Their shading was so good. And I couldn't help but wonder why mine just didn't measure up. Yet in that moment, something shifted for me. I actually felt as I was painting that God was prompting me to see the beauty and the uniqueness in my own painting. And so as I started to shift my focus from what my friends were doing, what their painting looks like to mine, I actually began to appreciate the beauty that I was creating. I realized, wow, this really is a masterpiece. That night I realized God's prompt was more than just my painting. It was about understanding my identity in Jesus. Ephesians 2 verse 10 says, "We are God's masterpiece, created anew in Christ Jesus." God sees us as his masterpiece that he created. He finds joy in every detail that is us. So here's two things that I realized that night. First, I was often in my own life looking for validation in the wrong places. After years of growing up being bullied and made fun of, I really struggled with confidence, always questioning whether I was good enough. But I had to realize that my worth isn't defined by world standards or people's opinions, that my worth was defined by God's love for me. And in him, I am always enough. The second lesson that I learned that night was that I needed to stop comparing myself to others. When we constantly measure ourselves against other people, we actually distort our true identity. And we often spend too much time looking in the mirrors of others that we no longer even recognize ourselves. So instead, when we stop comparing ourselves to others, we can actually shift our focus to the only person we should be comparing ourselves to, and that's Jesus. We're made in his image. So when we view ourselves through his reflection rather than that of others, then we fully embrace who we are. And I had to change my perspective of God and see him as God, my Father, because then I could walk in being a child of God. And when I understood God's love for me and who he was as my Father, then I could understand and see myself as a child of God and see him like he would see me as I see my children. And in my eyes, they are my most prized possession. Well, living as God's masterpiece means embracing our uniqueness in God, not looking to the world's standards or the opinions of people to define our worth. We need to stop comparing ourselves to others and embrace God, our Father's unconditional love for us. Then we can celebrate the masterpiece that is us. And that's how we build bold faith in who God created us to be.